Whether you are traveling to San Antonio for a conference, a short weekend, or even for just a single day, a visit to the San Antonio Riverwalk is an absolute must-do, especially as a first-time visitor. Commonly ranked as one of the top tourist attractions in Texas, the San Antonio Riverwalk is a beautiful network of canals, bridges, and walkways along the San Antonio River, right in the heart of the city. By watching this complete guide, you'll be more prepared and have a better idea of what to expect as I highlight and rank my personal list of the top 7 things to do at the San Antonio Riverwalk. So sit back and relax. This is your guide to the Riverwalk. Number 7. Walk the Riverwalk. We're starting with the most obvious activity to do. After all, it's in the destination's name. One thing many people do not realize is that the Riverwalk actually spans a total of 15 miles. But don't worry, the main section is only about 1.5 miles and is what I recommend checking out and will be highlighting in this video. If you're driving through the city, you may not even notice the Riverwalk exists since it's located below street level. You can begin the Riverwalk anywhere you'd like. For us, we started from our hotel at the Hyatt Regency San Antonio Riverwalk. By the way, I highly recommend a stay at this hotel because its location was super convenient, just an elevator ride down and you're right there at the Riverwalk, and the room was fantastic. I'll leave a link in the description below for competitive prices on this hotel. If you take a look at this very simple map I made, you can do a circular loop, which would be just under 1 mile total. To that, you can also add a 1/2 mile if you walk to the eastern side and check out a mall called the Shops at River Center, but more on that mall later. You could do this walk clockwise or counterclockwise. It's a choose your own adventure type of situation. To me, the Riverwalk felt like a maze because there is an inner and an outer walkway, there are bridges to cross, tunnels to go under, zigs and zags. It all made for a more interesting stroll, and I can't wait for you to explore it yourself. There are of course tons of things to see and do while on your walk, which leads us to number 6, the Arneson River Theater. This open air theater is unique in that its seats and stage are on opposite sides of the river. I can't say I've seen anything quite like it before. Apparently, it can seat up to 800 people among its 13 rows. Every third Thursday of the month, there is a live concert series that is free to attend on a first-come, first-served seating basis. The concert usually highlights San Antonio-based musical talents and a chance to support their budding careers. I'll leave a link to the theater's website for its upcoming events in case you're interested. The reason why I was particularly excited to see this theater was because one of my favorite comedic movies growing up as a kid was Miss Congeniality, which had a very famous scene filmed here where Miss Rhode Island described her perfect date, April 25th. If you know, you know. A river cruise we took later that night also mentioned this bit of film trivia, but more on the must-do river cruise later in this video. Number 5. La Villita. Connected directly to the Arneson River Theater is an area called La Villita. This is San Antonio's oldest residential neighborhood and contains several artisan shops and art galleries featuring local handmade goods. It's home to several big events throughout the year that you may be interested in. I took a quick gander at the month of September because it's September right now as I edit this video, and 2 big events are happening: Oktoberfest and the Hispanic Heritage Month Parade. So before your visit, check it out to see if your plans line up with an event. I'll leave a link to its website in the description below. Overall, I found La Villita to be a quaint neighborhood and rich in history with Spanish influences. Just make sure you're going during normal business hours. Number 4. Shops at River Center, aka River Center Mall. Now, going to a mall isn't normally at the top of my list when I travel to a new place, but it was an excuse to explore more of the Riverwalk as it was on the eastern side of the loop. On the way, you can pass through a cool looking tunnel and see some unique sculptures. Once at the mall, you are greeted with a spectacular view, even more spectacular at night when we went on a river cruise. We explored inside the mall for a little bit, and it's huge. There's 4 floors and it boasts over 150 stores. It's also a great place for the family as there is a Legoland Discovery Center, a Dave & Buster's, and the Sea Life Aquarium amongst other attractions. Now, that's not my particular cup of tea. Instead, I was eyeing getting a Fat Tuesday. And just so you know, you can drink and walk on the Riverwalk itself as if you're in Vegas. Just don't take your drink to the street level. Number 3, the Alamo. Now yes, the Alamo is technically not on the Riverwalk, but it is literally only a 5-minute walk from it, and if you haven't seen the Alamo, have you really gone to San Antonio? The Alamo is a historic Spanish mission built in the 18th century and is best known as the site of the Battle of the Alamo, an important battle during the Texas Revolution. While I am not usually one for museums, I thought the Alamo was well worth a visit to have a better appreciation for the city's history and to learn more about the Texas Revolution and how the state eventually gained its independence from Mexico. It's also, as of 2024, a free site to explore as long as you don't want a group tour or audio guide. You can explore freely and independently as you wish. Number 2, eat and drink at the Riverwalk. Most people don't realize that San Antonio is one of 2 cities in America designated as a UNESCO City of Gastronomy. It got its distinction for its role in cultivating Tex-Mex cuisine. Importantly for us tourists, all this really means is that the food is really good. And what better way to enjoy good food than on the banks of the picturesque Riverwalk? You can find most of the restaurants on the north or east side of the Riverwalk. This is what I gathered to be where all the hustle and bustle was at. We ate at the Iron Cactus, which has been voted as the best of the Riverwalk for the past 6 years, serving up contemporary Mexican food. It's also been voted as one of the top 10 tequila bars in the United States by several publications. I thoroughly enjoyed my pollo relleno, which was chicken breast stuffed with roasted corn, poblano peppers, blended cheese, onions and cornbread, a jalapeno cream sauce, Mexican rice, and seasonal veg. The only thing I wish we did differently was eat in the outdoor dining area. That way we could have enjoyed the views of the Riverwalk even more, but it was full outside and we were hungry and just couldn't wait any longer. There are also several bars scattered throughout the Riverwalk, and we went to a tiki bar at Hugman's Oasis. I didn't capture any of the drinks, but the atmosphere was equally excellent. Number 1, take a Riverwalk cruise. This is hands down the best way to explore the Riverwalk and is simply a great time. I'm going to go a bit more in depth on this activity than I did with the other ones because I just have more to say about it and I want you to have the best experience. So for my viewers that like to plan, make sure to take notes. The Riverwalk cruises are operated by the company Go Rio. There are different types of cruises you can take, such as a 2-hour dinner cruise, but the main cruise that most people opt for and the one I recommend is their standard narrated cruise. The narrated cruise is about 35 minutes long and operates daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can buy online or in person at one of their kiosks. What's important to note is that you are not reserving for a specific time, rather you are booking for any time for that day. When you are ready for your cruise, let's say after dinner, you just have to line up at any of their 3 docking areas. Locations will be listed in the description below. At the timing of this video, their general admission is $14.50, and they also have discounts for military, seniors, etc. The logistics of how their scheduling system works is of course subject to change, so please check out their website in the description below for any changes. Now here are 4 of my personal tips to ensure an even better experience with the river cruise. Tip number 1, take the cruise at night. At night, an array of bright, vibrant colors are illuminated throughout the entire Riverwalk. It's just a different experience than going during the day, and you can see the Riverwalk in a whole new light, no pun intended. Going at night is also recommended on a hot day when the temperatures have cooled. Tip number 2, sit in the front of the boat on the outer edge. If you want to take pictures or videos without anyone's head in front of you, then this is undoubtedly the best seat on the boat. You'll be opposite from the cruise operator, but don't fret because they have a speaker, so it's still very easy to hear them. I would avoid sitting in the middle of the boat because it seemed like a more cramped seating arrangement. Tip number 3, know the schedule. A boat comes every 20 to 25 minutes, so I would wait until you see the line die down a little bit before lining up. Personally, we waited 45 minutes before we boarded. And lastly, tip number 4, check the Go Rio website for any unique cruise experiences. I just checked the website right now and there's an October beer tasting cruise, ghost tour cruises, a Day of the Dead viewing party and cruise, and many others. So if you happen to be in San Antonio during one of these special events, why not take advantage of it? Overall, I found the narrated cruise to be very fun, filled with puns and jokes that reminded me of the Jungle Cruise in Disneyland. Our tour guide Jose deserves all the praise, and we learned a lot about the history and architecture of San Antonio. So if you've made it to this part of the video, I'm assuming you found my content helpful, so please like and subscribe to help my growing channel. I just started in 2024, and since my last video, I've now hit 1,000 subscribers, so thanks to each and every one of you that have been a part of the journey. What you can look forward to is I have one more video in my Texas series I'm going to release, and then afterwards we head to California for my Yosemite National Park series, which I am super eager to share because it was so stunning. It was my first time there, and I just have a lot of tips to share on that. As always, happy travel planning, and see you in the next adventure.